And recapping our top story in Afghanistan, multiple bombings have killed at least 12 U.S. service members and dozens more civilians. The blast struck near Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul, where Americans and Afghan allies are being evacuated following the Taliban takeover of the country. And joining us now to talk about the political implication of this is Dr. Stephen Maynard Caliendo. He is a political science professor and the Dean of College Arts and Sciences at North Central College. Professor, thanks for joining us. This has been a combat mission, but also a humanitarian mission. Can I ask, what was your reaction when you first heard the news today?
Well, it's terrible and it's so saddening, but it's not totally surprising. I think we were being, warned by intelligence officers and by military officials that this was possible, that ISIS was interested in carrying out attacks as the withdrawal was taking place. And so we even heard it from President Biden as early as Monday, I believe, that this was a possibility. And so it wasn't shocking, but it's a terrible turn of events for sure.
You're right. This has repeatedly been sold as the worst case scenario. Let me ask you, moving forward, how does the United States restore the evacuation process given the danger now?
It's going to have to be an interesting balancing act on the Biden administration's part to decide how they're going to move forward, how quickly they're going to pull everybody out, and then, of course, what comes with that is who gets left behind. And then the balance comes with what actions will be taken against ISIS. The president, in his news briefing this afternoon, threatened that there would be a retaliation against ISIS-K in particular for this attack, and so he has to figure out how he's going to make that move, as well as making sure to get as many folks out of Afghanistan as possible.
Yeah, I want to focus on that retaliation. How do you see that happening? I mean, the Taliban was supposed to be providing security. It is not a trustworthy group here. How do we make the scenario functional, and how does the president, how does his administration bring people to justice?
It's going to be a very difficult thing because, of course, as President Biden has said on more than one occasion, these aren't good guys. That is the Taliban, but this is the group that's in charge of Afghanistan now. ISIS-K is primarily composed of folks who broke off from the Taliban, disaffected people. And so these are not groups that get along. Now the United States is in the position to have to continue to negotiate with the Taliban as the official government of Afghanistan. I'm reminded, Ray, of the 1993 downing of the Black Hawk helicopter in Mogadishu, Somalia. And it wasn't just, of course, a tragedy in its own right, but it really affected how the Clinton administration approached foreign policy moving forward, including a very slow response, you'll remember, with the U.S. and the UN with respect to Rwanda and the genocide in Rwanda. And so having something come early in a president's first term in particular can really have a lasting effect on how they respond to foreign policy later on in the presidency.
I've heard that example used quite a bit lately. If you heard the president today, before today he said no more American troops would be sent into the region to help coordinate the effort. But then today he sort of suggested the opposite. What do you think the approach is going to be? What should it be?
I think it's difficult. I'm not an expert in foreign policy enough to say what it should be, but I just know, politically speaking, it's not surprising to me that he may have to backtrack a little bit because the situation has changed. It hasn't changed in the sense that he knew that this was a worst-case scenario, but now that it's happened, now that there's images coming back, and American public opinion has to be weighed as he's making his decisions. It's a different day today than it was yesterday, if you will, with respect to the approach that the Biden administration needs to take.
Critical few days ahead. Professor, thanks for your insight tonight. We appreciate it.
Good to see you, Ray. Thank you.
All right, you too. Take care.